We're back, baby. All right. I'm Cash, and that is Monica. And
Hello.
together, we're hosting Anxious at Bedtime, the paranormal podcast.
Did you miss us?
I missed us.
I did too.
It's been some time, and we appreciate you guys having patience with us, and we apologize for the delay in between episodes.
Yeah, and if you're back, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for coming back and joining us.
I truly have no real explanation. Just with things got crazy.
You guys ever heard of life?
Yeah.
Like, we, had that, and it just kept happening, and we had life, and
Yeah.
life just kept, lifing us, and...
And originally, I thought we needed a break from the podcast to focus on life, but now it feels like we need a break from life and should focus on the podcast.
Yeah, because life just kept lifing us, and then we just got lifed, with life, and we're back, baby. All right.
That is the dumbest explanation. So, what did we miss?
Oh, a lot. It's been months. There's
It's
been
been
so
so
much
long.
that we missed. So gradually, I think we'll get back into stuff to catch up on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our ketchup.
Our catch up. No mustard. Well, maybe a little mustard.
I do like mustard.
Yeah.
We hope you had a good Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate.
We hope you guys had wonderful holidays, and the new year has treated you well. Welcome to February, and to give you some kind of time reference in what part of February we're in, here soon there's supposed to be a lot of documents released about aliens in the U.S., so that's pretty phenomenal. No, I can't talk about alien releases? Crazy.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about on here. But
It's
as
aliens.
we alluded to, the times are crazy and I don't know how much we will get into. But
Oh, I'm not getting into a lot of stuff, but the
Yeah.
alien stuff I've been anxiously waiting for 55 years.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. There was recently an interview with, can we talk about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
Barack Obama
With
was
Barack
in an interview.
Obama.
Yeah, and they asked about aliens being real, and he alluded to it for sure.
Yeah.
And he said that was his first question as a president too, was about the aliens. And then there's just some message out there on the social webs about, they're releasing the alien files here soon, and I'm super anxiously awaiting that.
Yeah. So we will see. Honestly, I don't even know where to start with our catch up because there's been so much stuff. Literally every conspiracy,
Almost everything's
almost
been real.
everything has
Yeah.
been proven real or has come out in
So
certain
we can't really call them
files.
conspiracy anymore.
Yeah. So like, is our
People were
podcast
telling their
retired?
truths. No.
Are we just telling history now?
All right, you guys, we just came to say
Yeah.
bye. Bye. I'm just kidding. We're back, baby.
Yeah, we're back. But yeah, holy cow, it's been a wild few months. It's been a long few months. So when we took a break, I was kind of hoping, or at least I was thinking that maybe we would experience less hauntings, not talking about ghosts every day. But it seems like our hauntings kind of ramped up, which was weird.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
My mom was pissed off we're not doing the podcast, so she's
Maybe.
yelling at us from beyond.
Somebody was pretty pissed off.
Son of a bitch.
Or something. We had, I don't know, the usual stuff, but more stuff moving on its own.
I mean, immediately when we came back in here to record this today,
Yeah,
as soon as we walked into our podcast
10
office,
minutes ago.
yeah, a book started flying off the shelf at my wife.
Not flying off.
Dude, it was circling the room like in
Okay.
a cartoon.
No, but it moved. Like somebody shoved it to the right and like it fell down, But yeah, just that type of stuff. Stuff moving, lights turning on, TVs turning on, turning off.
Tons of synchronicities, too.
Yeah.
Speaking about something, and then a commercial pops up on the TV. Something referenced in the TV show as we're speaking.
Or like an answer. Like I'll ask, like, what do you want for dinner? And then a commercial will say, let's eat chicken for dinner or something weird like that.
In the right timing. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's
Just
odd.
lots of weird stuff happening. Nothing super crazy. Like we didn't get to see any apparitions or anything.
I was possessed.
Just twice.
Yeah. One time was wild, though. We'll get into that a different time.
Weirdly enough, our cat Kevin has started really like trying to converse.
He talks a lot. He
Yeah.
won't shut up.
So maybe we'll have him on as a guest someday. But he will, like, you can ask him a question, and he'll respond with a meow.
I'm just saying, if these alien files say that cats are aliens,
Oh,
I'm gonna fuck that dude up.
That'd make perfect sense.
He
But
better
also,
fucking up. Both of our cats are getting screamed at. They didn't tell me.
Why didn't you tell us? And why do you follow me into the bathroom? That was really weird.
You sons of guns. I've been supporting you for alien. You could have told me about this shit. I would have kept. No, I wouldn't have kept quiet.
Nah,
I would have told you.
you would have told me.
I would
Yeah.
have told you. Probably a lot more people. You're right. I got a fucking podcast based on it. Well, at least that's my part of the podcast, is I talk about aliens.
Aliens.
Yeah, moving on, though.
As for podcast news, we do have an old episode that has not been released, your birthday episode. So I will drop that randomly soon. So keep an eye out for that. But that does bring me to, we are changing our schedule.
Yes, ma'am.
For the time being, we are going to start releasing an episode every other week instead of weekly. But we do have plans to still randomly drop extra episodes like that.
Little seasonings of episodes.
Just as we get back into the groove of things.
Stella had to get her groove back, so does Cash.
Yeah. And then we might go back to weekly. The goal is someday, maybe 2 episodes a week, but I am just a girl, so we will see.
I need paid for it,
Yeah. That would help a lot, honestly.
That's a full-time gig.
Yeah.
Some would say.
We do have a new segment that we are going to be starting.
Oh, do we?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell yeah. What is it?
New episode. It's called Ask Cash.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Basically, if you have any paranormal questions or any normal questions at all, and you would like to write in, it's like Ask Jane? Is that what it's called?
I don't know who that is.
I don't think that's the right name.
I'm
anyway,
Cash.
like an advice column. It's an advice column, leaning paranormal, but you can write in questions for Cash. You can email them, or I have a Google forum, I think, that I'll be posting soon. And you just ask your questions and Cash will answer them.
I am no expert on any subject related to any of the paranormal stuff.
Yeah,
I am just fun.
It is purely for entertainment.
Sheerly
mostly for me.
Entertainment purposes only for her and myself. Myself only a little.
So we'll see how that goes, and it might become a regular thing. I don't know.
No, it will, because I am great. And everybody needs to know some of these. I'm an idea man. They may not always be the best ideas, but I got them.
You got them. And then finally, we will be releasing a new logo soon.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But yeah, we will be changing our logo, so keep an eye out for that. We will still have the same name. It's New Year. Let's change the logo again. Our third year, our third logo, so.
Hell yeah. Keeping it fresh.
Yeah. This might be the last one, though. We'll see. We'll see how much I like it. Yeah.
See.
But with that, today, we are going to talk about what is probably the first major alien abduction story in America.
Oh, that's why you didn't want me to talk about aliens. You want to talk about aliens this time.
I do. In 1961, a woman started to have dreams of an abduction.
Those weren't dreams, honey.
However, she quickly realized they weren't dreams at all.
I told you.
They were memories.
This, guys. Just got to let you know.
Today we're talking about the Betty and Barney Hill abduction, which went down in history as one of the first and most well-known alien encounters. Betty, whose birth name was Eunice Elizabeth Barrett, was born on June 28, 1919 in New Hampshire.
I understand why she went by Betty.
Eunice, yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard name to get people to remember, honestly.
Plus, could you imagine being like 5 years old trying to learn how to spell your own name? That's a big one.
I struggle with Cash. It's 4 letters. I'm 55.
Betty, stop saying that. You're not 55. Betty was raised in a farming family and eventually attended University of New Hampshire. After her sophomore year, she suffered from some sort of abdominal infection, which forced her to take some time away from school. After she recovered, she got a waitressing job at Rudy's Farm Kitchen in Hampton, New Hampshire. Quick tidbit, entire dinner courses were sold there for $1. Could you imagine going out for a nice dinner and the bill is $2?
That'd be wild, dude. I would love that.
Holy
Nowadays,
cow.
you try that and you're getting served cardboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the boot.
From my niece's kitchen.
She did that to me.
She
You're
did,
right.
yeah. And charged you.
Son of a gun. I did lose money on that deal.
No. But the price of food is not what we're here for.
We weren't. Oh, wait. We were talking about aliens. You're right.
Yeah.
Get back to that.
We're here for Betty, who met a man named Bob Stewart.
The musician?
No. Bob was a chef at the restaurant. He was divorced, charming, and apparently very handsome. Betty was quoted in an interview with Kathleen Marden, her niece and co-author of the book Captured, the Betty and Barney Hill UFO Experience, which is where a lot of this information comes from. But anyway, she said to her niece, Bob seemed like the best thing on the horizon, so I grabbed him.
Creepy.
They got married in a small ceremony on June 7th, 1941. When Bob's ex-wife heard the news that he had remarried, she dumped their 3 children off at Bob's mother's house.
She gave up on any relation to him.
Yeah, isn't
That's
that
wild.
wild? Bob's mother wasn't in any position to be raising 3 children, let alone 3 young children, considering the oldest one was only 8 years old. So Bob and Betty took them in.
Well, yeah, they're his kids.
But yeah, I don't know why she didn't just take them straight to him.
She wants nothing to do with him.
Yeah,
She
that's
upset.
fair.
He got a new lady.
Something, I don't know. But Betty completely stepped into a mother role and took care of them full time, eventually even adopting all 3 of them.
Nice.
Unfortunately, it did not sound like Bob was the most loyal of husbands, and when the children were old enough that they weren't really relying on Betty to take care of them full time, Betty decided that she wanted a divorce from Bob so that Bob could focus on his girlfriend. But don't worry, the divorce did not slow Betty down.
Doesn't sound like it.
No, she took
she got
her...
abducted.
Yeah, ooh.
Oh.
But she took her settlement money and immediately bought a house for herself. Shortly after moving in, an oil company tried to buy her new house from her, and at first Betty told them where they could shove it. But...
Bet it's where the sun don't shine.
It sure was.
I guess.
But the more she thought about it, it really was a great deal, and she kind of thought, why not make the extra money and come out on top, you know?
I totally get that.
Yeah. So she went back to the oil company and she negotiated, and get this, they agreed to pay double their initial offer.
That's a lot of them $1 meals.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Even if it was only like $20 initially, that's $41 meals.
But wait, it gets so much better. As time went on, Betty couldn't help but feel sad that she was having to give up her new house, because this was like her first step into truly a life for herself. That was her house, you know? It was her first step of this new independence, and she wasn't quite ready to just let go of that memory.
Mm-hmm.
And she realized she didn't even know what the company planned to do with the house. So she asked them, and they told her basically they were going to demolish it and just use the land.
She's like, pick that house up and scoot it over for me.
Yes. So this negotiating queen was like, nay, what if I bought my house back from you? You keep the land and I just move the house to a different lot. And this woman actually managed to convince the oil company to sell her back her house for $1.
See? And she can get hella more meals.
And listen, she got to keep all of the money they already paid her for it.
Well, yeah, she only had to give him $1.
Yeah. What? That's insane.
Yeah, and then did she move it by that restaurant with all the $1 meals?
No.
Oh.
She should.
She should have.
No.
Told you guys I have an idea, man. Look at that. She could have been.
Yeah,
she could have bought that restaurant too. Like I got
life.
5 of them $1.
5.
In the house next door.
All I could think when I was reading that is my little brother's convinced I'm a negotiating genius, and he keeps trying to convince me to take him car shopping because I helped us get a good deal on our first car. But he needs to take Betty. I want to take Betty.
Yeah, I would take Betty too, because
Yeah.
she seems like she's got some great negotiating tactics.
Right?
But let's get back to your brother.
$1?
Well, you're going to negotiate with some guy off Facebook for him?
Oh, no.
That's where he's buying his car. That kid's wild. Moving on now.
Yeah. But yeah, I would take Betty shopping a lot of places. Antiquing? Say
Walmart.
less. Well, I don't think it works like that there. Anyway.
What, Betty? Yeah.
While her house was being set up on new land, she still had to live somewhere. So she rented a room in a boarding house. The owners of the boarding house also had friends staying with them, and those friends were Barney Hill, his wife, and their children.
She made them pay for her room too, huh?
No.
Fucking negotiating genius.
They got along pretty well, the family and Betty, and they had fun hanging out, but the Hills were there for a vacation, and Betty was working while she was staying there, so they didn't spend that much time together. But it was enough time that they knew they wanted to spend more time together, so they exchanged addresses so they could all keep in touch. The Hills even made plans to eventually rent a room from Betty's house for a future vacation once her house was ready.
Betty pointed in the parking lot. She's like, you see that house? That's my address. Wherever it goes, that's where I'm going to be living. And you're welcome there. 1 room, guys.
I don't think that's what happened, no.
I do. She's quite the negotiator.
Yeah, that's fair. A year later, Barney and his wife decided to separate, and he and Betty were still pretty good friends.
Yep, saw this coming.
Hold on. They started talking more and eventually started spending time together on weekends, and their friendship blossomed into a romantic relationship.
Yeah, she negotiated him away from his wife.
Shush. No, hold on. It's very sweet.
Okay.
I know the timing seems a little fishy, but it truly sounds like there really was no funny business. Everything I've read really paints the picture of two people that honestly just planned to be friends and then became such good friends that they eventually looked at each other and were like, I can't live without this person. Which I think is very romantic. But it sounds like everything truly was on the up and up.
Hopefully.
At least according to all of the books.
I got faith in Betty.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There really isn't that much information on Barney's life before meeting Betty. We know he was a Boy Scout, then a truck driver, and a marksman in the Army for about 3 years.
He did all that shit within 3 years?
No, he was in the Army for about 3 years.
Oh, okay. I was like, holy crap, dude, he should not have been a Boy Scout, then straight to the Army. That's wild timing. I don't remember what the middle thing was, but...
A truck driver.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that'd be extra wild. Huh.
It was during that time that he married his first wife.
And got married? You remember when I said life happened to us?
Yeah.
Not that much.
Not that much, no.
Holy shit.
When he was in the military, there was some sort of grenade accident, and it caused him to lose all of his teeth.
And that in 3 years?
Okay.
That's why you got
Okay.
fucking abducted.
No.
Okay.
Then he eventually started working for the U.S. Post Office. When Betty and Barney got married on May 12th, 1960, everything was still very long distance. Barney lived in Philadelphia, and Betty had her home in New Hampshire that, of course, she wasn't going to leave. She fought hard for that.
She paid $1. It's not that hard.
But she had to
Her
negotiate
negotiating,
for
I
that
know.
dollar,
I know.
and she had to pay for it through the divorce. She worked for that house,
I was
okay?
kidding.
She was also a social worker, and she didn't have an opportunity to transfer. So Barney made the hard decision to leave behind his friends and family to move closer to Betty.
What a good dude.
I know. It hurt him a lot to be that far away from his 2 sons, so he and Betty were very involved in Betty's nieces and nephews' lives, which is partly how we get so much information from Betty's niece, Kathy, that I mentioned earlier. And Kathy has truly been one of the driving forces behind a lot of this information about the abduction being shared. And like I said, the book where a lot of this research comes from that I did is from her, and a lot of, I'm rambling now, but a lot of like Betty's journals, because I guess she was an avid journal keeper.
Yeah.
So it's like basically straight from Betty, but from Kathy. I don't know where I was going with that, but
I don't either.
they were very close with Kathy when she was a
Yeah.
kid. In order for Barney to move in with Betty, he transferred his job with the post office and really got the short end of the stick. He not only would be working the graveyard shift, but he also had a 60-mile commute, which back then meant he had to spend 4 hours on the road every day just commuting.
Yeah, the things you do for love.
Yeah. They really barely saw each other, but both said that it was worth it to even just get a few hours together.
I feel that.
Yeah. But of course, all of these changes were extremely hard. Barney had to leave behind the life that he knew, the life that he had worked hard to build. It's not like he was 18 and newly married, you know, he was almost 40, and he changed his entire life almost overnight. He'd completely flipped his schedule. He was so happy and in love, but he barely ever got to see his wife. And of course, there was also the tension of them being a biracial couple in the 60s because Barney was also black. So taking all of that into account, when Betty had a few days off from work, they decided to make it a vacation and finally take the honeymoon that they were unable to take for 16 months.
They better not have stayed in New Hampshire. They did.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
We'll get there.
All right.
The plan was to spend the weekend getting ready for the trip, then hit the bank on Monday because banks were closed on weekends, and then drive up to visit Niagara Falls and Montreal. However, they decided that they couldn't wait another minute to just get out of the house and spend time together, so they gathered up all of their cash, which was just about $70. And they agreed if they were frugal and smart about how they spent their money, they could leave Sunday morning instead. So that's what they did. Sunday morning, Betty packed a cooler with food. They loaded that and their suitcases into their 1957 Chevy. They grabbed their Datsun named Delcy and headed off for their adventure. They spent 2 days checking out Vermont, Niagara Falls, Toronto, and eventually they made their way to Montreal. Oh yeah, there's a podcast called Area 52 Debriefed, and they have a great episode where the host actually goes on a road trip that traces the exact path that Betty and Barney took. It's episode 56, and it's named The Truth About Betty and Barney Hill's Haunting Journey. If you want to take a deep dive into their route, it's a really great listen. And if I remember right, he does interview the niece. So packed full of information. And it's kind of fun just hearing like him and I think his co-host stop at restaurants that they think might have been the restaurant Betty and Barney stopped at. And it's just really interesting. It's kind of like,
It sounds interesting.
yeah, like getting to live it a little bit.
Like one of those museums that you like, but just through a podcast.
Yeah, yeah. The Hills intended to get a downtown Montreal hotel room, but Barney took a wrong turn. They stopped and asked for directions, but the person they asked only spoke French, and they got even more lost.
Yeah.
Then they heard a radio announcement about a severe tropical storm heading their way, and it started to feel like, what?
Severe tropical storm in fucking Canada?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I think it was heading more towards New Hampshire, which is where their house is.
Either way, you probably get tropical storms over there anyways.
Probably.
It's a hot storm, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just silly.
Anyway.
Or dumb, whatever.
But yeah, it started to feel like the odds were stacking up against them, so they decided to just head home. This meant they would have to drive throughout the night, but they would rather do that than risk getting stuck in the storm.
You know that was Betty's idea. She negotiated going home.
Probably.
I've been there where I wanted to stay in. You're not Betty, but you negotiate. That's why he wants you to fucking haggle with some Facebook marketplacers.
Oh my gosh. Luckily, the storm was still far enough away that the drive was really pleasant. They took in the sprawling mountains and the red and gold leaves because it was September, and they just really soaked in the last little bit of their trip together. But that's when things got weird. Betty noticed what looked like a shooting star in the sky. It was falling like a shooting star, but then it stopped and it started moving slowly up, then towards the moon. She started to think maybe it was a satellite, but even then the movements didn't make sense, so she asked Barney to pull over so they could inspect it together. It kept moving in weird, erratic ways. Then it started to quickly move towards them. Barney has since said he fully planned to look at it and then explain it away to Betty, but once he saw for himself how weird the object was moving, he had no words.
I would have tried to get my ass out of there.
Yeah. As they drove, they continued to watch it as it changed directions on a dime, flew up and down in near perfect vertical lines, and watched as it came to a complete stop and just hovered.
Was this a damn boogosphere?
What's that?
Oh, you don't know the boogosphere?
No.
Oh, you'll have to look it up later.
Okay.
It was discovered in Booga.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why it's called the boogosphere.
That makes sense.
But it's just a sphere that they couldn't really identify, like where it came from. It's like a metal sphere that moved in strange patterns. Yeah, I'll show you.
That's weird. The flying object seemed to follow them for a good while, but then as they rounded a big corner that opened into a large flat area of the road, they came basically face to face with it. Roughly 100 feet above the Hills' car was a round, flat disc.
Well, it wasn't a sphere, so it's not the same thing. I should have just been patient.
They estimated its diameter was 60 to 80 feet, and it had 2 rows of wide windows that wrapped completely around it.
It's a big-ass fucking diameter.
Yeah. Barney slammed on the brakes and stopped the car right there in the middle of the road. Then he grabbed the binoculars and looked at the disc. They both watched as it arched like... Why did I write that sentence? I said they both watched as it arched like a 3-pointer and shot into a nearby field. I was feeling...
Yeah, you were watching me play some fucking
something.
2K.
That's poetic.
Bars.
Barney grabbed the handgun they brought with them for safety, and he started to head towards it. This is a direct quote from the book. As he approached it, 2 red lights at the end of fin-like structures parted from the sides of the craft, and it tilted toward Barney.
I've never been there, player.
No. And remember, Barney is looking through binoculars, and he spotted shapes moving around that looked humanoid. All but one of the figures moved to the back wall in a military-type way. And that's one thing that's really weird to me, is they talk a lot about the figures moved like they were like in unison.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
But Barney kept staring at the one figure that stayed, and the figure appeared to be staring back at Barney. Then it somehow communicated to Barney and said, like, as if he heard its voice in his head.
Telepathically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it said, "Stay where you are and keep looking."
What made him watch?
Yeah.
What did it
I
make him
would have.
watch?
Barney was overcome with an immense feeling of dread, as if something extremely bad was about to happen. So he sprinted back to the car and told Betty if they didn't get out of there now, the craft would capture them. So they're in the car, speeding away, and all of a sudden, the disc was directly over top of them. There were weird buzzing noises that sounded like they were coming from the trunk, but they kept driving. Then another round of weird trunk sounds, but then things get hazy. They vaguely remember a roadblock and a fiery orb, but mostly they remembered the feeling of just wanting to be near other humans. So they kept an eye out for an open restaurant or any place where they could just be among people. But remember, it was the middle of the night and in the 60s.
Yeah, there's not everything everywhere.
Yeah, no. So nothing was open. They weren't able to be around other humans.
Yeah, there's not gas stations in the yeah.
They had no choice but to continue to drive. From the time they left, they expected to make it home around 3 a.m, but as they got back into town, they were both shocked to see that the sun had already started to rise. They'd lost several hours with no explanation. An entry in Betty's diary said when they got home, they both felt at peace and relaxed, but couldn't believe what they just experienced. They agreed they shouldn't bring the stuff from the car inside the house in case of radiation or something like that. They had no idea what they experienced, so they were understandably a little concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. They both had this feeling that they were still close, so they kept an eye on the skies, but they never spotted anything weird. They did, however, notice some other weird things. For example, both of their watches stopped working. They assumed it was because they were the wind-up watches where you have to occasionally... Yeah.
The manual automatics.
But I guess for those, if you forget to wind them, they can stop ticking. But when they wound them to start them again, nothing happened.
Broken.
Yeah. Both of their watches were broken. Barney's pants were covered in pieces of plants like he'd been walking through tall brush. And he got out of the car to look at the disc, but he never walked through anything that would have done that.
Like a cornfield.
Yeah. And then the tops of his dress shoes were all scraped up. The tops.
Like he was drugged with his feet. Yeah,
dragged.
That's weird.
Yeah. The leather strap on the binoculars was broken. And the dress that Betty was wearing was torn. And they didn't have an explanation for any of that.
That's weird.
Yeah. They showered. They took a nap. Then when they woke up, Barney suggested that they each go into a different room and draw what they saw. I think Barney was in disbelief, honestly. He was a very smart...
Yeah, matter of fact.
Yeah, that's the word. Matter of fact kind of guy. So I think he just wanted to make sure he didn't imagine everything.
Right.
So Betty and Barney split off, and when they reconvened, they realized they both drew almost the exact same spacecraft, down to the smallest details.
It's weird.
Yeah. So it's, as some people try to explain this away as like a delusion or a daydream type of thing, but they both drew the same.
Yeah,
no,
I don't understand how that would be possible.
And if that is what happened, that's even something just as weird that we have to look into.
How would they both have the exact same imagery in their head? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Unless you physically saw it.
Exactly.
The exact same thing.
And that seemed to be the confirmation that Barney needed, that they did in fact experience something unexplainable. And he suggested they don't tell a single soul about it because he feared no one would believe them.
Well, they fucked up. Because here we are talking about it.
In their defense, we'll get to that. There's some weird stuff around that.
See.
But Betty was fiercely independent, as we know.
See?
And she was not about to let anyone tell her what to do. So, not in a rude way, though. She was like, okay, I'll agree to not tell anybody, but I have to tell my sister.
And whoever else I want. Yeah.
No.
I get that.
No.
That's
Betty is not the reason everything leaked.
Oh.
But yeah, so she was like, I would like to tell my sister. And Barney was like, okay, I get that.
He's like, I already did.
Yeah.
I called her on the way home.
But so Betty told her sister Janet about it. And part of the reason she wanted to tell her was because her sister had witnessed something sort of similar before. So Betty felt like if anyone would listen to her story, it was Janet.
Yeah.
And to talk about that really fast, the decade before, Janet was driving home when she saw a blimp-shaped object in the sky. She pulled over near a house, and the people that lived in the house came out, and they all watched together as... This is where it gets weird, because at first I was like, okay, it probably was a blimp.
Yeah.
But they all watched, all these people, these strangers, I assume, as several smaller flying saucers flew into the bigger one, the blimp, and then the big one flew off.
It absorbed them and just...
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
That is.
Yeah. Like the blob just...
Kind of like how they show in movies all the time. And they say sometimes it's stranger than fiction.
Yeah. That's another thing I want to talk about at some point is all of these weird movies that are like psychological movies or scary movies.
They're supposed to be thrillers and trippy, and they're all real.
Yeah. All of the stuff that's like, oh, that's such a weird concept is coming out as true. Like, what?
I mean, I looked up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that Obama movie.
I blinked more than once.
And then, yeah, exactly. I don't know about talking about all that stuff, but look into it if you haven't, because shit's getting weird.
For anybody that doesn't know, my wife's the most paranoid person I've ever met in my life. And that's Monica over here.
Hi.
So just so you guys know, we'll allude to some stuff sometimes, but no, we're not going to get in depth.
Back to the story.
Yes.
Betty's niece overheard their phone conversation.
Her knees?
Her niece.
Oh.
Because she was talking on the phone to her sister.
Like her knees all of a sudden, she got abducted and they got ears and speakers?
No,
Weird.
her niece that wrote the book.
Okay.
Overheard her on the phone with Janet. And Betty told Janet that the peaceful feeling she had was starting to wear off and be replaced by unease. Almost as if it were a drug that was wearing off or something.
Or she felt like they were coming back.
Oh, maybe.
Dun-dun.
She felt, yeah. Janet said she would ask around about what to do and call Betty back. That was when a family friend who also happened to be an ex-police chief told Janice that all UFO sightings should be reported to the Peace Air Force Base. Janet also asked a physicist neighbor about it, and he suggested that Betty do an experiment by putting a compass on different spots on the car because of the magnetic...
Yeah, the magnetic fields. Yeah.
Janet passed all of that information on to Betty, and Betty started with the experiment. Barney wanted nothing to do with it. Like I said, he was freaked out, to say the least, and he just wanted to forget about it all. So Betty headed to the car alone with no idea what exactly she was looking for. She stuck the compass onto the car in a few spots. Nothing was really happening. But when she got to the trunk, which is where they heard all those weird buzzing sounds, she noticed there were a bunch of weird round spots. It was raining and the spots were still clearly visible, so they weren't clean marks or wet marks or anything like that. It sounds almost as if it looked like a little polished spot.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah. She thought, that's kind of weird. Why not check that? And she held the compass near those spots, and the compass started spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning just rapidly.
Going crazy.
Yeah. She thought maybe it could have been the way she was holding the compass, so she placed it on the car and let go. And again, the compass spun and spun and spun and spun. That's
where the UFO made contact with the car.
Yeah, where it grabbed it or something, huh?
Or it held it, yeah.
Ooh. As she watched, she was overcome with absolute fear.
I mean, that's where the UAP.
Oh, yeah. She managed to convince Barney and several people that they rented rooms to come outside and test it themselves, and every single person had the exact same results.
It would have been wilder if everyone had different ones.
That would have been, yeah. After the tropical storm passed, Betty's sister and her family visited the hills. I guess Betty was the wise one that gave great advice, while Barney is usually the jovial one that kept everyone entertained and made them laugh. But when...
Why am I both?
But when Janet's family visited, Barney was different. He was quiet and more reserved than normal. It was clear that he was really struggling, and Betty was sort of going in the opposite direction. She needed answers. She was more fixated on, what's going on. On September 23rd, she went to the library and checked out The Flying Saucer Conspiracy by Major Donald Kehoe. I really hope I wrote that right.
And pronounced it right, but let's assume you did.
And this was where she learned about NICAP, or the National Investigations Committee of Aerial Phenomena.
Ooh.
Phenomena. I don't think we can sing that. The author was actually the director of Nightcap, and the book talked about the conspiracy that the government was trying to hide information about UFOs, which we now know is true. It's so weird doing this research from like this end of time.
Yeah. And we'll get to that here soon when we get the information. We'll let you guys know what we know.
Yeah, once we get more information.
Well, I'll let you know what I know.
Anywho, the book provided an address so people could write in about their experiences, and Betty sent a letter detailing theirs. While waiting to hear anything back, Betty started having nightmares. But the nightmares felt more like flashbacks of being taken onto the ship.
Did the aliens fucking get an apartment and have people write letters so they can start contacting them again? Like, you
That
fucking
would
snitch.
be like Men in Black is just trying to get information.
They got an office full of aliens just be like, you need to stop fucking snitching.
Huh.
That's crazy.
I don't think that's what
Hey, you
happened
guys,
here,
when we ask you to email us, that's not what it's about.
It.
That's not us, dude. This is a conspiracy theory. Okay.
But the information came in her nightmares as little pieces at a time. But she wrote down the nightmares after they happened, hoping that if she wrote them out, she would be able to forget about them and maybe stop having them. In November, she was able to take all of her notes and put together a timeline of what happened to her the night of the experience. So this wasn't like one long dream where she was like, this happened, then this and this. It was little pieces that she was able to be like, oh, this is the whole story.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me. And on October 17th, 1961, Betty received a letter from Nightcap informing her that they would be opening a proper investigation.
They weren't coming to her house, were they?
They were.
I don't trust that.
That, my anxious little friends, is where we are ending episode 1.
Oh, shit.
In the next episode, we will discuss the Project Blue Book investigation, the hypnosis that gave both Betty and Barney even more questions, the betrayal that outed their experience to the world, and Barney's illness that might have come from his time aboard the craft.
What intrigues me the most is the hypnosis part.
Yeah.
It's like, who the hell hypnosised them? Who did it? Who done it?
You'll find out in the next episode.
Will I?
You will.
Is that going to be in 6 months?
No.
Okay.
It better not be. Hopefully 2 weeks.
All right. Well, fuck, 2 weeks?
Yep.
Oh.
Like I said, we'll see how much we like this new schedule. I don't know if I can handle waiting that long, honestly.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Welcome back, and thank you guys again for joining us and coming back.
We are excited to be back and excited to see all the things what? Excited. I need to learn how to talk again, so stay tuned to see if that happens.
You can find us on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. You can also find us on Instagram. It's Instant Pot Instagram, I guess.
Yep.
Allegedly.
And we do still have a Threads. I just
don't use it.
I don't know if we're going to use it.
Yeah.
I forget about it, if I'm being honest.
And if you want, I mean, you can email us some of your stuff.
Yeah, if you or somebody you know has had a brush with the paranormal and you would like to have that story read on the pod, or you have questions about anything paranormal or life in general, and you would like to ask Cash.
And have a dumbass response, because it's not going to be, it might be great. Who knows? It's probably going to be great.
It could be.
It's going to be great.
You can email us at anxious@bedtimepodcast@gmail.com. And if it's an Ask Cash question, just put in the subject line, Ask Cash, and then I know what it's for.
And if you don't, I'm probably just going to assume everything people want my opinion on anyway. So be specific. Otherwise, you're getting my opinion. The world can be a scary place. Going from New Hampshire to apparently Canada. The aliens just fucking up and abduct you and then make it so you can't even have a fucking compass over by your trunk and shit, dude. That's wild. But us, we're probably fine.
We're probably fine.
Good night. Don't be too anxious.
Sleep tight.
And don't let the fucking UFOs and aliens bite.